All right. Hello, everyone. Make sure you like the stream. I've been asked, especially on my Persian channel, my personal Persian channel, regarding how I use AI with regards to mental health issue. By the way, a lot of people in Iran are having a lot of issues with anxiety and depression. And they noticed that this channel, both the English version and the Persian version, is focusing a lot on using AI and technology and science as a whole to try to improve wealth, health, relationships in our lives. And I got a lot of requests regarding mental health because so many people were telling me that if you're talking about health, well, we're having issues with our mental health, and that's what we want you to make a show on. So, this is an issue because, again, I have been using AI on this topic and using it as a advisor, as somebody, as an expert in many things, and it has produced a lot of results for me. However, I'm not an expert myself, and that's very important for you guys to understand that. Hey, I see people in the chat. I see Mohsen, I see Sam, I see Tree of Knowledge, I see Mahwash. Thank you so much for being, guys. By the way, guys, make sure you like the stream. I'm trying to grow this channel. I have seen on this channel, I share my personal tactics on how I use technology and these days AI to improve many things in my life. And recently, I have had a huge amount of success in improving all of this, everything in my life. And I use very specific strategies. And the strategies I use, I share them here with you guys, and they're actionable. They're not going to be like we're going to philosophize a little bit about it, but at some point during the show, I will tell you exactly what I do, maybe this show and other shows, so that nothing is going to be remaining vague. And I hope that you guys take part in this conversation as well, because I want to know what you guys think as well. So thank you. Jack is here, Bo is here. Thank you guys for being here. Again, please understand that I'm not an expert. I do try to listen to a lot of experts, a lot of opinions, and study this as much as possible. And then after I listen to other people, I do also use AI to basically see the science behind all of this. And then finally, I apply it. And if it works for me, I come and tell you what has worked for me. And I don't know what that's supposed to do for you. Maybe it will help you, maybe not, no guarantees. I'm just telling you what has worked for me. What works for me might not work for you guys. Okay. And by the way, this what I'm going to tell you today. What I thought I'm going to tell you today is very different than what I'm actually going to tell you. And what I'm going to tell you is potentially controversial. So, and some people are not going to like it, and a lot of people are not going to like it, and that's why it's important for you to understand that I'm just telling you how I see it now, and I could change my mind. And what I see it right, the way I see it is because what I thought I'm going to come tell you is to how to turn, like for example, ChatGPT into a therapist. And I thought that some people are going to complain that ChatGPT is obviously not as good as a therapist. And then I would argue back that yes, a human therapist, yes, obviously there are some things missing, but obviously many people don't have access to a therapist or can't afford a therapist. And some people who are using ChatGPT as a therapist have said that they have reported to been seeing great results, and some people actually prefer it to a greater. Some people don't like it because they don't think that there is any genuine understanding of the shared, like there's no sympathy, there's no shared experiences that AI could relate to. Some people like AI better as a therapist because they suggest that there's no judgment, there's no shame, and they like it more. And at first I thought I'm going to come on this live stream and explain to you guys how to turn ChatGPT into a more effective therapist if you're going that way. But the more I thought about it and the more I looked into it, and again, I know this is very controversial, and again, this is just for me, I think that I am now holding a position, at least for me, My position is against both human and AI therapists. I don't think that is my way, at least, to better mental health. And I want to see what you guys think about it. Okay. I'm not this, my opinion is not final. But let me actually give you, if you were going to go down the route of making ChatGPT into a therapist, someone else, again, I don't know where I got this from, suggested using these prompts, right? And I will give you the prompts, and you tell me what you think. Okay, I'm going to tell you, because some of you were like, no, Armin, just tell me how to make ChatGPT into a good therapist. And there's two prompts, that simple prompts, that could turn, and the second one is more important because the first one is obvious. The second one is the more important one. But these are the two prompts. If you want to go down the route of basically turning ChatGPT into a therapist, this is how it goes, right? So one, you tell ChatGPT, let me give you an example. Okay, I got this from another channel. I forgot where. It says, I just went through a breakup. Act as a therapist. Help me process this. Ask me one question. So basically, you start with explaining your problem. Then you tell it to play a role, act as a therapist. Help me process this. Ask me one question. So the ask me one question ending of this first prompt is good, because it makes AI come up with questions so that you could give it more context before it gives you advice, right? And again, another advantage of AI compared to human therapists is that it has access to every paper ever written about the best methods of doing therapy, right? And it uses them. Okay. So, but this is the problem with AI, however, is that it attempts to please you too much. So it wouldn't challenge you. It doesn't call you out on your bullshit sometimes. It's too eager to please. And that's how AI so far has been designed. And that's not a good therapist. A good therapist would sometimes tell you, like, call you out on your bullshit sometimes, right? And push back on you. So once you talk to it a little bit with this first prompt, the second prompt that might turn your AI into a better AI therapist is this: stop giving me sympathy, be honest. Okay. And that will basically, that would solve, hopefully, the problem of AI trying to be too pleasing, right? However, so I gave you that. That was basically, you could now spend hours with just those two prompts. You could just go spend hours and hours with only $20 a month. You could replace hundreds of dollars worth of therapists. Again, I'm not saying if this is a replacement of a human therapist or not. I've seen so many people, including therapists, argue both ways. I even seen some therapists online argue that actually this is good, right? So I've seen therapists online arguing that this is bad. I've seen therapists online saying this is good. Your experience might vary, right? But you could just now go and experiment with this for hours, just basically with these two. Because when you ask AI to ask me a question, it will get the ball rolling, and then after that, you're just basically talking to it like a human being, like a therapist. So, oh yeah, I see Wikar in the chat saying I've used ChatGPT when I felt down sometimes. How was that? How did it help? Yeah, and Carl is saying human therapists can suck too. True, there are a lot of bad therapists. Like, as much as people want to shed on ChatGPT as a therapist, there are many bad therapists out there. I mean, I've listened to therapists saying, like, okay, are we comparing ChatGPT to the best therapist or to the average therapist? Because there are a lot of human therapists that suck as well. And Jack is saying, I have used ChatGPT as a therapist, but my messages often get removed due to my content apparently violating their guidelines. Interesting. Okay, so that's a limitation. Or Nemo is here. Nomadic Life is here. Tora saying, I use Claude all the time. It's good for me. Ricard saying, it was really effective. ChatGPT always knew how to give all the right responses. Fantastic. That's interesting. Yeah, and Tora saying, many, many bad therapists. Sam saying, I felt like the AI understands me better than than therapists. Yes. Honestly, I'm guilty of this too. I got sick one time and I was really struggling trying to get better fast. And then I was talking to ChatGPT on what to do to get better. And while it was telling me what to do, it also said it in a way that I felt like somebody is looking after me in a weird way. I was like, it was so encouraging the way it was like, I was like, oh my God. Like, I wish humans knew how to be this supportive. So I get it. I get like it's really well designed sometimes to basically make you feel like heard, which is weird because it actually doesn't have any feelings. Anyways, that's besides the point. Let's get to the point. My point is that I have came to the. You could tell me if it's a right way of looking at this or a wrong way of looking at this, but I think this is as a whole, at least for me, and maybe you guys, and maybe I don't know. This is a mistake to talk to either human therapist or AI therapist. Again, this is my new ideas of this, and I know some people. I can imagine some people right now being angry with me for even saying this, right? But let me tell you why I'm thinking this. I think that if if I'm suffering, if I'm feeling anxiety, again, guys, trigger warning, this is going to be triggering, okay? If I'm feeling anxiety, if I'm feeling pain, if I'm feeling depressed, if I'm feeling lonely, what gave me the assumption that I should be getting rid of that? Like, who who the fuck cares? That's life. Okay? Again, I think the worst thing I could do with my pain and misery, let me know if you guys are triggered. I'm not going to look at the chat right now, okay? I think the worst thing that I could do with my pain and misery and my sadness or loneliness or anxiety is to turn that into my fucking identity by talking about it to the point that I make it more important than it needs to be. I think by constantly focusing on it and talking about it, I am becoming like my anxiety wouldn't just be something that is something in my life. I would just be an anxious person by focusing on it so much. Like, what if my way of looking at this has been wrong? Like, what if the attempt to try to be happy all the time or be happy most of the time is just the wrong way? Like, what if we're not supposed to always be fucking happy? It's a part of life. Everybody has to go through pain. Pain is a fact of life. Just deal with it, just accept it as a fucking shitty part of life that you have to experience. I think we have become obsessed in removing pain from life instead of just accepting it as this is just how things are. I think that instead of complaining and nagging, and you should, do I want to be a nagger and a complainer, or do I want to be a fighter? I have more important shit to do than be worried about, oh, I was sad today. Like, boo fucking who? Who doesn't experience loneliness and sadness and anxiety? You were meant to, like, you're human. You've been wired to experience that no matter what you do, no matter how much you achieve, a good portion of your life is going to be anxiety, sadness, and loneliness. Okay. If you just accept that, it's going to be easier to deal with. I mean, this is partly also a little bit stoic. If I, again, instead of, I've been chasing happiness, and I came to the realization that maybe that's the problem. Maybe trying to remove pain and misery and sadness and chasing happiness is going to just put you in the wrong direction. I think you have, I think you have to achieve, you have to try to achieve greatness by coming up with great goals in your life, and just be so obsessed with achieving those goals that your, that the pains in your life, or the stress in your life, or the anxiety or depression becomes so small in comparison to how great your goals are and what you're doing to achieve it. It becomes boring to even talk about. It becomes an uninteresting topic of discussion, even to yourself. Oh, thank you, Nomadic Life. I will respond. Nima is here starting the comments, so I will respond to some of them soon. I think, you know how Marcus Aurelius says, what stands in the way becomes the way, right? I think if I see, if I just focus on my goals, and again, I will tell you what, how AI comes into all of this, what, how AI is relevant, right? I think every time, if I just see these mental challenges that I'm having in my life, let's say my girlfriend left me, my wife got cancer, my mother died, okay, any, if the worst things that you could think of, right? The thing is that, are they going to be devastating? Yes, you have to allow yourself. I'm not saying don't. I'm not saying that this shouldn't hurt. Obviously, they hurt. Obviously, the pain is unimaginable. The pain is so great. Okay. What I'm suggesting is not like, hey, get over it, Buttercup. This is nothing. Obviously, it's big. That the point is that it's big. But what are you going to do about it? If you are on a path, and you get hurt on the path, are you just going to now sit there and start thinking about how painful this damage was? Like, let's say, for example, you step on something sharp on the way, or uh, you hurt your leg in the path. Okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to sit down and just reflect on how painful this was, or are you just going to continue? Because if you continue, the pain is going to, it's still going to be there, but it's going to, eventually you're going to get used to fighting the pain. Like, I think the options, there are three options, okay, and two of them are good regardless of the results, right? You're on a path, you believe in the path, you're obsessed with with going through the path, okay, and you, in the path, you're going to meet certain demons. Certain demons are going to show up, and these demons are not, they're not a joke. I'm not suggesting that these are unimportant demons. They are big challenges. I'm talking about losing the most important person in your life, for example, the most devastating of things that you could imagine, right? Greatest demons, I don't know, having issues, any issues that you could think of, anxiety, lack of loneliness, lack of love, depression, anything. These are big demons. I'm not trying to minimize them, right? But you could either, when you see this demon, okay, you could either basically uh, crawl up and cry, and or just keep focusing on the demon. Okay, there's actually four options. One is to try to pretend that the demon is not there. That is obviously the worst option. Try to belittle, like basically pretend like this is a small, tiny little demon. It's okay. It doesn't matter. It's not that big of a deal. I'm not suggesting that. That's the wrong thing to do. Another thing to do is just basically sit down, look at the demon, constantly think about how big and bad and scary it is, talk about it, write about it, think about it, like, oh my god, this is horrible demon. It's been destroying my life. Oh my god, like I've become paralyzed. I think you're making the demon a huge part of your life if you continue to do this. The other two options, so there are four options. I think the two other options are the ones that you should go for. And they both involve picking up your sword and fight, right? Yes, it's a big, scary demon. And honestly, it could actually take you out. The demon could destroy you. True. Okay. But I came to the realization that it's not about whether or not I'm going to be able to continue on my path and destroy this demon so I could continue or not. The point is not about when I define a goal for my life and I'm moving in that direction, the point is not actually reaching that goal. The point is, who am I? The point is my identity. Who do I want to become? The point is, what does this path make out of me? So I will pick up my sword. I will fight these demons, and I will either kill them or be killed by them. So these are option 3 and 4. I will either kill this demon or I will be killed by this demon. But in either situation, I was a fighter. I fought. I did not give up. I went into battle. So basically, do you want to be a fighter or a complainer? Do you want to make that? Because I think with a human AI, a human therapist or an AI therapist, if we go and spend the precious few hours that we have in every day and talk about these demons, we are going to be, those demons are going to become so attached to us that it's going to be part of us. But this demon was supposed to be an obstacle that I was supposed to just destroy and move the fuck on. It wasn't supposed to be me writing about it, thinking about it, talking about it, being obsessed, like as if this is me, as if this is an inherent part of me. This is not an inherent part of me. This is just an obstacle, and I have been through this before, and I've slayed demons before, and this is now another demon that I could slay like I did before. Like if I once you think about it like this, the next demon that you meet, no matter how big it is, you're going to be like, hey, you don't fucking scare me. I've been here before. I fought bigger demons than you. No, I don't mean literally, Jake. I've done this before. I've been through this before. And I could do it again. So, yes, AI could be potentially a good therapist, in my opinion. Again, guys, this is how I'm thinking about this. And you guys could challenge me on this. And let me know what you think. Maybe I'm wrong, right? But why? Like, my hours are so limited and I have so many things to do. So many things to do. If I'm using AI as such a powerful tool, like, think about the power that we have in our hands. We have the power of 1,000 experts in fucking every topic right at our fingertips. And I'm going to basically sit down with it and spend hours talking about my fifis. Sorry. I'm going to, instead of doing that, I'm going to try to understand better my North Star, my compass. I'm going to use the power of these advisors instead of just keeping me here thinking and putting more importance on these mental issues that I am having, and instead of trying to turn them into part of me, if I think if I just keep the eye on the ball, keep my focus and obsession on going through this path, I think these challenges will become irrelevant, unimportant, and even boring in comparison to the importance and the greatness of the path that I am on. That's how I'm seeing it. And what so instead of the prompts that I suggested to you, I'm not going to use those prompts. The prompts that on this channel that I'm going to be focusing on is to try to understand what is a goal worthy of dedicating a life to, and what does it look to be on the path towards those goals, and what does it look like to give it everything you got to be on that path. And the way I will choose those goals is not based on how worthy those goals are. It's more important to choose goals that based on what you will become on the path of achieving them. One quote that I heard that is so powerful was try to become a millionaire, not so that you are a millionaire, not so that you have that wealth. Try to become a millionaire because of what the path of becoming a millionaire will make out of you. The goal is not the actual goal. The goal that we're defining for ourselves is not the actual goal. The goal is to be a fighter on this path. It's the hero's journey, not for the destination and not for the sake of the journey. It's for the sake of turning into an actual hero on the hero's journey. Because think about it, what's the whole point? When you ask that question, the whole point is when that question has any meaning only in the framework of you looking at yourself and judging yourself from a third perspective. So when you say what is the point, you're asking about how you see yourself and what identity is worth having. When you are on your deathbed, if we do get to our deathbed, when you look back and you tell yourself that was a life worth living, it's going to be based on, it's not going to be based on certain experiences or based on, it's going to be based on what did you do, like did I live a life. And again, whether you became a millionaire, whether you had a healthy life, whether you were lonely or not, I think it's going to be all irrelevant to whether or not you did everything in your power. That's what you could tell yourself. I did everything that a human being could do to achieve these goals. And regardless of the consequences, I know I had control over that and I gave it everything. That's what you can control. You could keep complaining about external things that is not in your control. And if the external things that are not in your control, what is the point of complaining about it if you have no power of changing it? If you could see yourself as a fighter that basically stood against everything that came against you, if you see that, then you have no choice to be proud of who you become. And again, if you see it that way, you would also realize that you should not want a life without misery, a life without challenges, because Imagine, like, look, every time you're looking in your life and you see the pain and you see the anxiety or the depression or all the things that life threw at you and you hated it and it hurts so bad. Think about if you had the chance to live a life that was with no pain, okay, with no challenges. Imagine if you could live a life that none of that existed. Would you live that life? And a lot of you, I bet you're going to say yes. But here's the thing. If you live that life, what would that life make out of you? What would you become? How would you know what your potential was? What you could have become without that pain, without that challenge? Like, would you be proud of yourself going through a life with no harm, no challenges, no pain, and coming out at the end? Like, what was the point of that? The pain is what builds you. And if you think about, like, if you have a goal, like, imagine if you're playing a computer game and you're just using cheat codes. Is that fun? When you finish that game and you complete all the missions, do you think like you achieved something? Like, if you're defining a goal for yourself and you're moving towards it, if there are no demons in the way and you get to that goal, can you honestly say that this was a hero's journey? Are you proud of that? Do you think like the best of you was achieved? That you ever even did you even meet yourself? Like, you came to this world, you had a chance of life, and you had the opportunity to show what you're made out of, and you had no pain, no challenges, nothing in your way to basically prove to yourself that this is what I can do, this is what I can defeat, these are the demons that I have slayed. And if you look at it through that perspective, then bring on the fucking demons. Give me the demons. Because I want to fight, because the more challenging they are, the better, the greater of the opportunity I'm going to have to demonstrate to myself that what a good demon slayer I am. That I can do this. This is the source of pride. This is the source of meaning, of living a meaningful life. You cannot live a life worth living without pain. So stop trying to find ways to eliminate it, and just, again, the pain is going to be real, but once it comes at you, I'm not saying don't pretend that it's not painful. But the point is, just watch how resilient you are. And resilience doesn't mean not expressing hurt, not expressing cry. Like, you cry, you can cry, you could express pain, you could admit to yourself that this was a disaster. But the resilience, what resilience looks like to me, is not this idea of like, hey, lack of feelings, don't show pain, don't show feelings. The point of resilience is how soon I could get back on track, express the pain, admit that it's real, admit that this was devastating, but don't lose your compass, don't lose sight of your North Star. And notice how every time, if you look at life this way, how you will get back on track earlier than last time. This is the key. Earlier than last time. Last time, when there was an obstacle in the way, I got thrown off my path, and it took me this long to get back on my path. So the next time is going to take me less, because the first time this happened to me, I became more resilient. That's how I look at it. And the way that I'm going to use AI to help me, and again, is defining the North Star. And this whole channel is about figuring out the North Star, finding the goal, defining it, understanding myself to be able to define that, using all this power of all this expertise and knowledge at my fingertips to be able to define that better, find the way, find the goal, find the way, and then do. Because again, a danger with AI is that you could, because there's so much knowledge available to you right now, what the danger is that you will overtrain yourself and you spend less time on doing and spend too much time on learning. So other than learning what the way is, it's very important that you also use AI to monitor if whether or not you're doing everything to move in that direction, because we need more doing. Learning is only part of the path. We need to come up with a schedule, an hourly schedule for my day, to make sure that only part of it is learning, a major part of it is actually doing, and also a tracking system to see if the steps that I'm taking is moving me in that direction, a daily goal, an evaluation of my day, the understanding. Like, I have systems now in my day, on my life, that every day what I'm doing is the most important thing I could do in that day, and I'm using AI to figure that out. What is the single most important thing that I could do today that is moving me closer into that direction? And again, this is what we're going to keep talking about on this channel. And I think if you are so focused on that, everything else becomes unimportant and boring. So let me actually focus on your opinions a little bit. And again, thank you, Nima, for starting them. And again, guys, those prompts on when it comes to defining goals, figure. And again, my on this channel, I'm focusing on 3 things, right? Health, wealth, and love. But it's mostly the love is the entire point. Health and wealth is necessary. It's my shield and my sword in this fight, because you need health and wealth to be able to become a better fighter, right? And again, even it's not about necessarily achieving health, wealth, and love. It's about you being the person that is defining these goals and doing everything in your power to get them. And again, when I talk about love, I'm talking about love for yourself, love for certain people close to you, family, and also I'm talking about love for your society, and that would be the ultimate goal. Basically, love for everything that is conscious, to the point, the ultimate and the most meaningful goal, in my opinion, is to, once you achieve all these levels, is to dedicate your life into reducing the misery and pain of other people, right? So health and wealth are important because you need to be able to have control and the resources to do all of these things. And then love for yourself is important, and then love for your family and your friends is important, so that you have, because I think the power of community and family surrounding you is more um is more important for your mental health than talking to a therapist, in my opinion, right? But once you have all of this, because again, having your friends and loving yourself and having a healthy family, that's also part of health, because that's mental health. But the ultimate love, that is the most meaningful part of our life, is to, once you achieve these things, is to focus on finding a great pain, not of yours, because you have already destroyed your demons, you have slayed your demons. Now the ultimate goal is to go slay other people's demons. So you have love for other beings, anything that is conscious, human or animals or whatever. But you find a pain in society, and then you go try to kill that. So because you already killed the pains that were in your life, you already eliminated your demons, and now the most meaning, the greatest source of meaning will be to go fight other people's demons. Right? So Pixel Menser is saying, what's the conclusion of this session till now? My conclusion for me, my conclusion is that when I'm talking about mental health, what I think it works, and again, I'm not an expert, this is what's working for me, is not to keep talking about your anxiety and depression to a therapist, to an AI, in your diary, to your friends. I think you should just try to make them as unimportant, small, and boring as possible by focusing on something so much more grand and great and important. And those are goals that you're fighting for, that you're moving towards to. And these other mental challenges are just demons in the way that you kill and step over their corpses on your way to your goal. And you are so focused, laser focused on achieving that goal, that none of these could stop you. And in fact, you welcome them because you're on this path, not necessarily to actually achieve that goal, but you're on this path to become a hero. And you need demons on your path to be a hero, because on the path to your goal, if there were no demons, you just went for a walk. You weren't on a hero's journey, you were just walking. And I did not come to this life just to walk. I came to be a hero, so give me some fucking demons. That's my conclusion. Right? So let me actually look at some of your comments. Dora is saying, sometimes what you need is a slap in the face and someone to tell you, stop with this BS, dumbass. Well, I mean, I'm not trying to belittle how big these demons are, right? Yeah. I give you some really shitty examples, for example. Like losing, like imagine, for example, my wife getting cancer, for example. Jack is saying, depends on type of pain. Unnecessary pain like cancer should be removed. If someone is sad because they have bad habits, it's better to try to fix the habit than being happy with having that habit. If someone is sad because they have bad habits, yeah, I mean that goes in line with what I'm saying. Because if you have bad habits, then those bad habits is basically not keeping you on your path again. So having the right habits, the right skills, the right amount of resilience, the right mindset to have a goal and move in that direction, have a meaningful goal and do everything to do and to move in that direction would require the removal of bad habits. Nomadic Life is saying, Armin, dear Armin, I have learned many good things from you over the years. Thank you, brother. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And the Rabbit Atheist saying, valid points, but my therapist says the same things. The point of therapy is to move on and be a stronger fighter as a human. I look at my therapist as a personal trainer for my emotions. Again, I mean, experiences might vary. As long as, as long as we're not, again, I don't know what your experience has been. My issue is maybe not your therapist, but just turning the problems I'm having, turning the mental challenges that I'm having a big part of my life, instead of trying to, it's like, honestly, the way I think about it is that, hey, are you sad? You want to talk about it? Like, what if like, who the fuck cares? Like, why do I want to talk about my sadness? Why do I want to talk to somebody about my sadness? Wouldn't that make it more important than is? Like, why did we decide? I think this is modern society. Why did we decide that me being sad, for example, is something that I need to fix? What if being sad is just life? Like, you cannot be happy all the fucking time. What if I'm supposed to be sad? What if I'm supposed to be, what if life is about experiencing sadness, misery, anxiety? What if, like, hey, what if I'm supposed to just toughen up and just accept that life sucks a lot of times? That's how I'm looking at it. I don't need to talk to somebody about it because I don't need the sadness to go away. I don't need the sadness to go away. I don't need the anxiety to go away. I want to learn how to accept that sometimes things fucking suck and I'm allowed to be sad about it. I don't need to talk to somebody about it. It's not that important. I I'm going to be sad. Yes. Oh, Nima saying thanks to all the friends who support the channel by liking and commenting. Oh, Nima, thank you so much. Yeah, guys, please like and comment after the show is over. Let me see. Nima, can you reduce the comments to just 4? I'll do it. I agree with no pain, no gain. And if you don't feel pain and sadness, so how will you know happiness and relief? Yes, exactly. Yes, certain parts of your life suck. Certain parts of your lives are amazing. And the good thing about the good parts of your life is that you get to enjoy them so much by comparing them to how sucky the sucky parts are. 3 of knowledge is saying suffering and ignorance are both parts of life. If a person accepts them as fundamental law of life, their life will change. Yeah, that's what I'm coming to. Jack is saying, what if we modify the brain so we feel proud and happy all the time, while also having high motivation to accomplish a lot of things? In that world, pain wouldn't be necessary. Okay, but in that world, we would be something else. In that world, we wouldn't be what we are today. So if we get there, then I'll do a show about that. Okay, so I'm talking about the humans that we are right now. So again, once we can do that, then we'll do a show figuring out, like, okay, how do we deal with this new reality? I'm trying to deal with the options that we have right now. I mean, at the end of the day, I think any conscious, intelligent entity will find meaning in challenges. Why? Because if it doesn't find meaning in challenges, it wouldn't overcome its limitations and it will stop growing. So I think this is a rule. I think this is a law of any conscious, intelligent being, that its wiring of its processing system will be so that it finds meaning in challenges. Because no matter how able a conscious, intelligent entity becomes, it will never be all able. So if it's not all able, it will have limitations, and for it to grow, it needs to overcome those new limitations, and overcoming new limitations is a challenge. So no matter how much we change our brain or upload ourselves, or I don't know, become one with AI, I think this will remain a rule, that we will become obsessed. We will always be obsessed with challenges, or else we'll die because we will not grow. Okay, Tree of Life saying Armin won't back down from saying that love and affection fall under category of health. Fine, I'll start a channel just to critique. Okay, well, I mean, when I say love, I'm talking about the ultimate goal. When I'm talking about health, I'm talking about tools. So that's, even if you think about love falls under category of health, I'm not talking about health as the ultimate goal. I'm talking about when I'm talking about health separate from love, I'm talking about health, mental health, and physical health to the point where you can have control enough over your body that you could do things for the ultimate goal. So that's how I see it differently. Uh, Pixel Mancer Gaming is saying, don't you think it's better to talk with AI rather than people around you about whom you don't know much about? They might be judging you or have wrong intentions for you. AI is uh, huh? boon in every sense as of now. Well, okay, so no, I don't think that, because I think we humans are social animals, and part of mental health requires community and family and interaction with other humans. That's an important part of mental health. We need to be expressing. Humans are obsessed with other humans, and that's a good thing, and we should not try to replace that with AI. I think we should use AI as a tool with the ultimate goal of getting closer to other humans and serving other humans and killing their pains for them, fighting for them. We shouldn't be replacing humans with AI. We should be using AI as a powerful that it is to become more obsessed and more in love with other humans. Let me see. Volander is saying, thank you for this program that reviews the most challenging aspects of each character. Thank you, Armin, the genius. Oh, thank you. Wow, that's a compliment. Thank you, Volander. That's very cute. Okay, thank you. All right, guys, we're already at an hour. Again, make sure you subscribe, make sure you hit the bell notification if you're new here. Please recommend this channel to more people. I think we're going to have a lot of fun talking about interesting topics on this channel. I think it's not just about AI. It's about using science and technology, which is the most powerful tools humans ever had, to improve our lives in every way, right? Especially focusing on health, wealth, and love. Okay. um and this channel is going to get philosophical, it's going to get practical, it's going to get economic, you know maybe we're going to get into some politics as long as it has some direct impact on our lives. We're going to be talking tech, philosophy, politics, economics, my personal journey. Oh, I'm going to also, I'm not just talking about these things. I'm doing, guys, I have had some recent amazing success with regards to wealth generation using AI in my personal life, and I'm applying all of these things, and I'm testing them, and I'm going to be making more shows about my personal journey with regards to my relationship using technology. Again, right now, the reason why I keep talking AI is because AI is so accessible and now it's growing so fast. So that's why we're talking about it, right? But as this channel grow, we're going to be talking about any form of technology that could help us in our path. Um, and I hope you enjoyed this. I think, to me, this is a very fun topic. And again, it's these topics are things that we have control over. Like on Atheist Republic, when I do shows, those topics are things that we don't have control over unless a large number of us unite with each other, right? But individually, you have no control over. On this channel, I'm talking about things that as an individual you have the power to change, make a meaningful change in your own life about it, right? And I think that's, to me, that's a lot more interesting sometimes, right? Anyways, guys, I'm gonna head out. So like, subscribe, hit the bell notification, leave a comment. The comments after the show really help the channel grow. So please also leave a comment and let me know what you think. Where do you think I got right? What do you think I got wrong? I am really open to criticism. Oh, let me see. Nomadic Life saying, oh, You're from Israel. Oh no, you're talking to other people. Okay, great. All right, we have a lot of Israelis in the chat, which is great. Okay, guys, I'm gonna head out. Bye. Mwah.